In this video, we're going to do a wrap-up of the winter maintenance work we did on Phil's car and also talk about locating the battery in front of the engine. When we get to the battery discussion, you will see images of my car alongside video of Phil's car. My car is the gray car that is much, much dirtier than Phil's car.
So along with my normal yearly maintenance on the car, I had a couple of other issues that needed to be taken care of. My transmission was worn out. This transmission, engine transmission, came out of a 1990 LX Mustang 5.0 and that was wrecked, and I bought it. And I basically cleaned up the items and installed them as is without any rebuild or anything. The transmission, after a couple of years, actually 18 years of aggressive driving and shifting, showed some wear. I was slipping out of second gear and grinding going into third. And so it needed to be replaced. And I opted, rather than rebuilding it, because of the economic cost, of buying a rebuild kit is $450. That's without any new gears. If you need gears, gears could range $125 to $450 for the, you're probably over halfway there just on parts.
Yeah.
Before you even take it apart. And I've never taken one apart. I didn't want to learn on this, get it all done, spend all that money on those parts, get it in and not have it work. So I opted to go to Mike Forte and buy a new transmission that had all new gears, all new parts, and install that. So the first video, Mike and I removed the transmission, which is a challenge without pulling the motor. They recommend you pull the motor to replace the transmission.
Yeah, there's conflicting information online about it, right?
Right.
Some people say you can't do it without, so we proved that we could do it.
So first video we showed removal of it. Second video we showed installing the new one. And also the other maintenance item was I had an antifreeze leak coming off the back of the motor that was determined to be deteriorated head gaskets over, I suppose the motor now has close to 100,000 miles on it. And so those head gaskets had given up and were leaking some antifreeze. So we replaced the head gaskets on and showed you that on the third video. Then the other item I came across, aside from cleaning and waxing and doing the oil change and the regular maintenance, I decided to relocate my battery from the trunk and moved it to the front. The reason being is if you have to do any maintenance on that battery and it's mounted under that trunk floor, even if you build an access panel to access that battery,
Which
I did,
Mm-hmm.
it's a real bear to get it in and out of there. And especially when it's on jack stands and you have to use a jack to lower it and jostle it around, it's a real challenge to get it out of there, even with the access panel. But also the lead was, the wire lead was probably 6 feet up to the solenoid from the battery. And with the stock wiring, actually battery cable that Factory 5 included with the kit, that the gauge of that wire for this year of starter and this type of motor was not adequate size-wise. And I had a lot of hot start problems early on. And I solved that by increasing the wire to a 2-gauge welding cable. And that solved that problem. But you probably wouldn't have to do that if you could probably use the existing cable if you shorten it. And I've shortened it, it's less than 3 feet now, the way I've got it mounted now. So that'll improve the efficiency of the starter and help with the hot start situation.
Mm-hmm.
I made the original version of my battery tray by bending a piece of aluminum sheet at 90 degrees and then riveting 3 pieces of angle aluminum to it to add extra strength. I know you can buy those different places, but where's the fun in that? If you're using a 302 or a 351 Windsor, there's over 9 inches of clearance between the cross member in the front and the pulley on the front of the engine. This is plenty of room to mount a battery. What you see here is the original battery tray I made back in 2003. I drilled and tapped the frame in 4 locations and used socket head cap screws to attach it. If you run the battery cable from the starter up the frame to the crossmember, it's literally 2 feet 9 inches long. Stick your solenoid right beside the battery and then run a short 6-inch battery line up to the positive terminal for a really short battery cable. This is version 2 of my battery tray, which Phil made up for me out of a single sheet of aluminum slightly thicker than what I had. I then had it anodized black. It looks great and is very strong.
So let's just say, so the battery now has been moved here on this really fancy plate that Phil made up. And I have one just like it, but mine's black. And then the solenoid is up here. And then of course, the starter, everybody knows, is down here. Gotta get down there. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I like your angle tie down. That's pretty sweet. And there's plenty of room up there, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, when I did mine, several people said, "Oh no, you're going to kill your battery. There's way too much heat there. It's not protected." Blah blah blah. Yeah, 20 years later, and I'm on my second battery. It's fine.
Thanks for watching my video, and if you liked it, hit the like button and think about subscribing so you can catch more of my Cobra, motorcycle, and house project videos. Thanks again. Bye.